So let's keep going because the Bible is just going to say what he just said. But let's go to John 19, 38 to 39. It says, and after this, Joseph of Arimathea, being a disciple of Jesus, but this is just reiterating what Mark said, but secretly, for fear of the Jews, besought Pilate that he might take away the body of Jesus. Why secretly? What's going on here? Secretly. And Pilate gave him leave. He came therefore and took the body of Jesus. Okay. Now, and there came also Nicodemus, which at first came to Jesus by night, and brought a mixture of myrrh and aloes, about 100-pound weight. What the fuck is myrrh? Let's go to myrrh. Check it out. Now, myrrh is Hebrew. Now, I want to go down here. It says myrrh, resin, is a natural gum. It has been used throughout history as a perfume, incense, and medicine. It can also be ingested by mixing it with wine. Ingested. That means you got to drink the shit and you got to be allowed to drink something. Okay, now, so you need to understand what has happened because I don't think people understand what's going on. I don't think you understand what just took place. So let's go back to John 19. Let's go to 39 and realize what's being said here. 38 and 39. It says, and there came also Nicodemus, which at the first to Jesus by night. This is there, remember, to the Jews, a stumbling block. To the Greeks, foolishness. This is foolishness. Which at the first came to Jesus by night. So it's saying he already came to Jesus at night. So obviously when Joseph coming in there talking to Pilate, this is after Jesus was already taken off the cross and put into the sepulcher. So now Joseph, after Nicodemus obviously healed him because he brought him a mixture of the myrrh and aloes and everything. So obviously Jesus is healed already. So now Joseph, he's making it like, can I take the body? The man's dead. So can I take the body? And Pilate is like, because he took him down. He's like, is he dead? How is he dead? Because y'all took him down and this and that. So he wasn't even up there that long. How is he dead? But pay attention to 39. It says, which at the first came to Jesus by night and brought a mixture of myrrh and aloes. Can't get any more clear than that. He already came to Jesus. So let's keep going. Now let's go to John 11 through 18. John 20, 11 through 18. This is where Mary is in it. This is where the whole resurrection is supposed to have taken place. Now, it says, but Mary stood without at the sepulchre weeping. And as she wept, she stooped down and looked into the sepulchre, and seeth two angels in white sitting, the one at the head, the other at the feet, where the body of Jesus had lain. And they said unto her, Woman, why weepest thou? She said unto them, because they have taken away my Lord, and I know not where they have lain him. And when as had thus said, she turned herself back and saw Jesus standing, and knew not that it was Jesus. Okay, Mary, how the hell she don't know who Jesus is? How do you not know Jesus when you see him? Why would she not know that that was him? Now, let's pay attention to why it says, Jesus said unto her, Woman, why weepest thou? Whom seekest thou? She supposing him to be a gardener. What? Explain to me, how in the world do you mistake him to be a gardener unless he was dressed like a gardener? She didn't mistake him to be somebody else. She didn't mistake him to be a preacher or a gravedigger or somebody like that. She mistaken him to be a gardener. He had to be dressed like a gardener. So let's go back. Let's think about something. Remember, you had Nicodemus gone into the sepulchre at night and given him myrrh and aloes. He healed Jesus at night. Then what you had was Joseph go to Pilate and say, can I have a body? Making it like he was already dead. You see that Pilate was like, huh? He dead? What you mean he dead? He was shocked that he was supposed to be dead. He wasn't up on the cross long enough to die. So what they did was they healed Jesus. And when he said he could have the body, basically Jesus just walked up out of there because he was healed. And he's disguised now as a gardener because he's supposed to be dead. But let's keep reading it. If you're not convinced, you're going to be convinced. Now, saith unto him, Sir, if thou have borne him hence, tell me where thou have lain him, and I will take him away. Jesus said unto her, Mary. She turned herself and said unto him, Rabboni, which is to say, Master. Jesus said unto her, this is important, very important. Touch me not, for I am not yet ascended to my Father. Gang. What? Touch me not, for I am not yet ascended to my Father. I have not rose, because he ain't never died. He survived. I have not ascended. The whole premise, everything your religion stands on, if Jesus is Jesus dying and ascending unto heaven and coming back. Jesus supposed to have died and ascended and came back. Died, ascended, came back. It says here clearly, touch me not, for I am not yet ascended to my Father. Why not touch me? Because he's sore as shit. He just been beaten down. He's sore. Don't touch me. I ain't ascended yet. I'm still in flesh. Clearly it's saying that. But he says, pay attention, but go to my brethren and say unto them, I ascended unto my Father. What? And your Father, and to my God and your God. So he just told her to go lie. He said, go lie to them. Go tell them I did ascend. But he just said, I am not yet ascended to my Father. But he just told Mary to go lie and tell them I have ascended. That's game. That's game. I'm going to overkill it. Let's keep going. Mary Magdalene came and told the disciples that she had seen the Lord and that he had spoken these things unto her. Now, first, before we go there, let's go somewhere real fast. Because when you read, when it starts out in John, she goes there and it's supposed to be her by herself. Now, she's in there by herself. Now, when you start reading John, it's supposed to be Peter and some other people with her. But when you go to Mark, it says that, when the Sabbath was passed, Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James, and Salome, and has bought sweet spices that they might come and anoint him. So, why are you going to come anoint somebody that's dead already? But let's go down here because I want you to see, remember, Mark 16, it ends at 8. Now, remember we said, this is my whole point here. So I want you to understand why this is important. Because Mark 16 ends at verse 8. And that was the end in all of the original old manuscripts. But in 9, this is why this is important. Read what it says here in 9. It says, now, when Jesus was risen early, the first day of the week, he appeared first to Mary Magdalene, out of whom he had cast 7 devils. What? John doesn't say that. It doesn't say that in John. Now, it's saying here that Jesus rose and cast demons out of Mary. But then in John, it's a totally different thing. But that's not going to take away from our story. That's just the part I wanted to note. But let's keep going. Let's go to Luke. Let's go to Luke 24, 37 through 40, because it's basically telling you outright here. It says, but they were terrified and affrighted and supposed that they had seen a spirit. So they're thinking they seen a spirit of Jesus. And he said unto them, why are ye troubled? And why do thoughts arise in your hearts? Behold, my hands and my feet, that it is I myself. Handle me and see, for a spirit have not flesh and bones, and as ye see me have. Listen, he's not dead. It's clearly showing you. He's telling him, touch me. I'm flesh and bone. I'm not dead. I'm not a spirit. So you're talking about the whole. Oh man, I just go back to church, just think about all the sermons about Jesus rose and the glory and all this and that and the Holy Spirit. He wasn't dead. The man ain't died. And when he had thus spoken, he showed them his hands and feet. Now, it's going to go deeper than that, because Jesus not only showed them his hands and feet, he actually went and ate with these people and sat down with them and he ate. So spirits can't eat. So it says here in Luke 24, 41 through 43, it says, and while they yet believed not for joy and wondered, he said unto them, have ye any meat? And they gave him a piece of broiled fish and honeycomb. And he took it and did eat before them. So dead men don't need to eat. If he died, come on, man. If he died and ascended, what the hell he need to eat for? Why does he need to eat? Now, you're supposed to be... Now, the pastors had you believe that all the time when Jesus is coming through talking, because they don't give you these verses, they got you believing that this is some ghost, some spirit of Jesus walking around, flying around. But clearly, it's telling you here, this man never died. He's in the flesh. But if you ain't convinced yet, you will be. Okay, so let's continue, because Jesus actually tells you that he is not going to die. He tells you he's going to survive. Now, let's go to Matthew 12:38 through 40. Now, it says, Then certain of the scribes and of the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, we would see a sign from thee. But he answered and said unto them, An evil, listen to what he says to them. He says, An evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign. And there shall no sign be given to it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and nights in the heart of the earth. Come on. He just gave it away right there. He's telling you, just like Jonas. Let's go to Jonas. Let's look at Jonas. Now, you got Jonas 1:17. It says, Now the Lord had prepared a great fish to swallow up Jonas, and Jonas was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights, which is retarded. Like, come on, no grown ass man can't be in no fish. That right there should tell you it's some bullshit. But Jesus is saying, just like Jonas was in there 3 days. How many days? Jesus supposed to have what? Risen on the 3rd day. How many days? 3 days. You got to put this shit together. It's telling you. What happened to Jonas? Did Jonas die? No, Jonas did not die. He survived. He went through hell in the fish, but he survived. So Jesus is saying to you, it's going to be just like Jonas. I'm not going to give you no sign. There's not going to be any sign. He said, an evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign. That's a little pop shot at the Jews that they put in the Bible. But there's not going to be a sign, but only the sign of Jonas, the prophet Jonas. Now, it goes on. It says here, Hebrews 5. In Hebrews 5 through 7, they're talking about Christ here. It says, So also Christ glorified, not himself to be made an high priest, but he that said unto him, Thou art my son, today have I begotten thee. As he said also in another place, Thou art a priest for ever after in order of Melchizedek. Now, Melchizedek was supposedly a priest that basically blessed Abraham. Now, it says, Who in the days of his flesh, when he had offered up prayers and supplications with strong crying and tears unto him that was able to save him from death, and was heard, and that he feared. So it's telling you, it's confirming. Remember, Jesus was praying and he feared dying. And he's telling you, he offered up prayers and supplication with strong crying and tears unto him that he was able to save him from death. He's saying that God saved Jesus from death. Listen, I gave you enough. I gave you more than enough to prove to you, one, he ain't died on the cross. He bitched up and he got saved from the cross. He survived. So obviously, Jesus never died on the cross. He didn't die. They gave him some shit. He passed out. They only put that verse in there about him being stabbed with the spear. They took it from Matthew and put it there in John, because John shows clearly, without that part in there, there's no way you believe that he died. They put the whole spear of destiny thing in there so you would take it as he being killed by that spear. He was done because he didn't react to it. So they threw that in there. But the part that gives it all away, the part that explains it all, is when he says, I have not yet ascended unto my Father. I have not ascended. I mean, I could have just gave you that. That right there is it. Because I get Christians saying, no, he ascended, but he came back into his body so he can speak to his disciples. Then I get other Christians that say, oh, no, he did ascend. He just came back down, and he came back down to the spiritual form to speak to his disciples. So they thought the spiritual form was his actual body. No, that's not what the book says. The book don't say that. I just read to you what the book says. They add shit to it to try to make it fit when it's not what the book is saying. The book said the motherfucker didn't ascend. He's telling you, I ain't ascend. He said, look at me. Look at my hands. Look at my feet. Do I look like a spirit? I'm in flesh. He ate. Spirits don't need to eat food. So, that's the end of that part. I mean, come on. We done with that.